we saw throughout the day. Another team that had a different composition to what we saw was Vitality, drafting themselves into a Protect the Hjarnan composition, picked up the Lulu, picked up the Tristana for the team as well. And with the Kennen pick, you could see what they were trying to do. They just kind of ended up in this situation where they could never really engage, had to try and flash engage with the Kennen time and time again, and just could never get the Tristana rolling in time against this Corki, which just ended up sieging on them. Was just too much to deal with, and Rocket came out with a surprise win.
Sure.
Vitality, it was half of them not really playing the map as best as they can, and half of it Rocket playing well.
Sure, and Vitality make mistakes. You can't do that against Fnatic, because we saw what happened with Origin doing that yesterday. Gamsu came in, had a fantastic early game. Spirit was out jungling, amazing. And obviously we had a LeBlanc from Febiven that was absolutely fantastic to watch.
Yep. Individual players as well as the team play from Fnatic, although in the interview afterwards Noxiak said, well, we're lucky that Gamsu had such a great game, but I think they forced it in every lane.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Gamsu had such a great game. This play right here, this is going to be in every highlight reel for the spring split. We didn't even get to finish out the...
Oh no!
They killed him, spoiler.
He did, spoiler, I know. Yeah, I mean, as if people haven't seen that like 10 times already, but that's going in every single highlight video. But I was happy to see Gamsu given a champion that had both the ability to carry, that didn't hinder the rest of the team. Either way, taking what was given. Tanky enough that it didn't affect the team, like perhaps Huni's Riven was affecting Fnatic in some of the games that they picked that up, but was able to carry as well.
Yeah, and the question is also, do we have to, I mean, for their sake, they probably won't travel back to, what would have been in the situation if it was Huni, because they have to work with the roster that they have now, who have shown their strengths already.
Yeah, and that's what Fnatic talks about all the time, how right now, these first few weeks is just about getting communication, getting synergy, learn which champions we want to play and which compositions we want to run. And great start yesterday, definitely exceeded expectations, at least for me. Mm-hmm. And just looking at the way they were playing, like the fact that it didn't seem like there were any synergy or communication issues, because everyone was always roaming, joining in fights before Origin even did so. The TPs were great for Gamsu. And honestly, we just got to see a top laner who clearly didn't get to show how good he could be over in NA in a lot of games. But then again, it's only been game one, and he got fed early on from a few teleports, but we expect more now.
But there was a very similar role for that from the support. Noxiak is the support now for Fnatic. We were looking at it in the offseason. There was a lot of trust given over to a player that hadn't really shown up last year when we saw him. We saw glimpses, but Fnatic going and saying, this is the player we want to replace Yellowstar. He's not the same kind of player as Yellowstar when you look at it. Worlds apart when it comes to experience, but in his first showing, was very confident on the Poppy. It's a new pick, really, to the LCS and to the meta, and looked very, very strong yesterday.
Yeah, we are waiting for kaSing to fix his mouse issue on stage with the help of our colleagues there, so we'll hope to get that fixed soon. Let's talk a little bit about kaSing and Vitality. I said a lot. Okay, it is a roster with huge, I would say actually big expectations on their shoulders. Maybe not from their sake, but from ours at least. If you look at the individual skill and looking at the possible question marks, yesterday, sadly, it seemed like no one really had a clear head.
That's fair to say. And, I stand by a lot of the hype that I was giving them yesterday when they are
all
a
them
team.
Guards and everything.
Well, that one I think is probably the only one I'd like to just kind of shave a little off the
You're the only god here.
Just, well, let's not.
Thank you.
I can't deal with this.
Keep going.
We're just going to shave a little bit off the top of that one. But I stand by everything when you look at where you expect them to place. If they're at the top of their game, they should be, up to that top 4 level. And I think that's a unanimous, really, expectation. Problem is, yesterday they didn't look particularly great when it came to their map awareness and their macro play around the map. They had the lane swap. Played it very standard, and then the game just kind of fell away from them as they got sieged on, and they really had no answer to it. And that is the aspect that when you put all of these players that are very mechanically sound together, that's what needs work the most from the coaching staff, and that's what they have to now focus on.
I think we just saw too many macro mistakes.
Yep.
And you can have the best players in the world, but if you make mistakes in a lane swap, if you position wrongly on the map with one member and he gets caught out, you start falling behind. And what we have seen from yesterday and from today, once you start falling behind, it is extremely difficult to get back in the game because these towers fall very quickly, the tier 2 tower, tier 3 tower, and then suddenly you fall too far behind in gold, map control is gone, and then it's over.
Yeah, definitely against a team like Fnatic, who in their old iteration of last season, we know even snug Barons where they were ahead and then got super ahead, and seemingly now they have even more tools to do so. What are we looking at here for Vitality? Early moves. Shook yesterday, of course, we had the lane swap and he couldn't really find his footing. We called him out as a question mark. Is he the one we're looking at?
I don't think SUPP necessarily did too many bad things yesterday. I think as a team, overall, it was more the issue that's, again, the macro plays coming in. So I think for Vitality, you kind of just clear your head. You look at yesterday and say, which mistakes did we make and how can we fix them overnight? You might not be able to. If it's a lane swap, you got to practice over and over and so on. But coming against Fnatic, honestly, Vitality should look for standard lanes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Try and get standard lanes. Try and play the Cabochard SUPP game against Spirit and Gamsu and see if you can beat them there. Because I think 2v2 in the bottom lane, they're going to be even. I think mid lane as well is going to be more or less a farm fest unless we see the assassins coming in. So try and play around that top side and try and shut down Gamsu early.
And I feel like they should be playing a fairly similar style to each other. Fnatic and this Vitality lineup, you look at the strengths of both teams. As you just kind of alluded to, the lanes that will go even. That's why I don't really want to see Vitality go for a protect the AD carry comp. Because I think if Fnatic can pick up this kind of composition, which has enough early game to start, sieging then on that composition of pretty much a 1.5 damage team when you include the cannon. I think Vitality, the game could go away from them very quickly again. And it's now on Vitality not to pick themselves into a corner.
It's always difficult because if it is standard lanes, the games tend to be a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And then these conversations with Lulu and like a hyper carry, get 2 items on that AD carry and that's it, and then you can start get rolling. That is okay for Vitality.
I will cut you off here because I do hear that the players are ready and it's the game we want to see. So let's go over to Quickshot and Krepo.
Thank you very much. If you don't stop the fish show, he never stops. I'm Quickshot, joined by Krepo, who's about to jump into picks and bans here for Vitality, taking on Fnatic.
Yep.
Kennen last pick for Vitality yesterday. It did not prove influential versus the Olaf Zach last pick, which was very influential.
Yep.
What are we expecting here outside of the traditional sort of top power picks, and in what order, Krepo?
I mean, there's so many power picks just in general. So generally, every draft we've seen so far, we've been like, they got a lot of power picks.
Yeah, because
So
there's just so many.
It's just more what you do with it. And honestly, Vitality, it's definitely still a team in the making. They're still in the building process. They aren't as worried. I was talking to Nukeduck earlier before this game. He was like, yeah, we're not that good right now. Fnatic, the likes of H2K are looking a lot better. But it's fine. It's Spring Split. We're in the building phase. Our goal is obviously summer. So we need to see how much building they will have done in like one day. I think from a macro perspective, Fnatic will have the upper hand.
So, first bans, Tom Kench taken away by Vitality. Gangplank, the reply from Fnatic. Kindred, another time on the ban table. So
Vitality yesterday, they did the same thing. They banned out Kindred and Tom Kench, and then they went on to ban Lissandra. They may not actually do it this time because Fnatic has a counter ready, so they may not value the pick. Maybe they have the Olaf top ready for Cabochard, because that seems like a champion that, for me, Cabochard can play on a whim as well. If you look at Fnatic yesterday, they were on the other side, so they had pretty much the same bans there. Tom Kench, Kindred. They're not doing the standard purple side bans. You really don't want to leave a Gangplank first pick, a Lulu first pick.
Nukeduck played that Lulu yesterday. Was never really in a position to have that wild growth impact the game because it fell apart at the seams.
Even had one unlucky wild growth where kaSing went for a max range hook and the wild growth actually displaced the enemy far enough to make the hook miss. So it was adding insult to injury.
All kaSing's fault. Blame the support. Or
No,
the jungler.
Nukeduck. Never played support. And exactly, Vitality mirroring the bans exactly the same that they did yesterday when they were on blue side too. Kindred, Tom Kench, Lissandra, they went on to early pick to Lulu, which is now off the table, obviously.
Well, Thresh, the last ban from Fnatic towards Vitality, removing one of those big playmaking champions that kaSing really made his name on during the course of 2015.
I want to
Rise
see
first pick?
Poppy to block the Trundle and to block the Lucian a bit, to block the Kalista. I think it's pretty strong. Trundle is like the only lane that can almost deal with it, but even then, it's pretty rough.
So, Poppy, Rise. What are some of the other champions that we've looked at and maybe overlooked? Elise, also available in the jungle.
Elise is on the table. There's always Rek'Sai if you want to secure tank-heavy jungle and you want to go more damage-heavy on your top lane. You just need to make sure that your composition has somewhat of a tank, somewhat of a front line. Alistar is some of the supports early picks too, because it just provides you a tank support that you can always send into the front line.
And for Vitality, the option will be that Rise.
Yep.
Flex pick again, something that we've talked about excessively during week 1 of the LCS. For Fnatic, we know they can run maybe an Olaf into it. Can also break out of those rune prisons, but not as ideal as that Lissandra Olaf matchup.
I mean, both Zach and Olaf kind of do well chasing the Rise down because he relies on preventing people from getting to him with the repetitive snares. Fnatic likely gonna pick up. They pick up the Lucian because Rekkles likes the champion. It is the strongest AD carry. We've seen some nerfs to Misfortune. People on social media have been like, "Well, she's not that nerfed." Well, I believe she didn't get played a single time yesterday, so that just shows you the pros kind of think she's really not that good right now. So Lucian strong pick, and Poppy, it's a flex pick that at the same time is so likely to get support that it blocks so many champions from being picked. Like, imagine if you want to play Lee Sin jungle, you get countered in every fight right now. Both the Q proc going into the fight and trying to get out with W gets interrupted by Poppy's W, so much counterplay possible.
Yeah, that steadfast presence.
Poppy W.
That is it, Poppy W. Keeping an eye. Now, Vitality, they know the duo lane. They've already committed to at least one of their solo lanes. Well, safe pick would be jungle.
They don't necessarily know the duo lane. Poppy is still a flex pick.
Touche.
It is
we assume it's going to be support.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, and after saying how Misfortune is weak and been nerfed and been removed, Hjarnan says, hello, Crapo, and locks it in with Morgana.
Remember when you said the MF was bad? You're wrong. I wonder actually what the interaction is. I imagine a spell shield target will not get any influence from Poppy's W there. Also, if you're a team that likes playing stuff like Zac, early locking, Poppy obviously allows you to steal it away from the enemy team because Poppy is the hardest counter to any Zac jumping in. It's the easiest thing ever. I like the composition. It's a lot of chase. It's aggressive, and it can be creative with both teleports, and especially Olaf is one of those picks that shifts like the paradigms in the team fights. You're used to having a respectable amount of zone. Olaf just ignores that and Ragnarok's in. Same way you're used to respect certain gang paths from both junglers, with gap closers included going over walls and stuff. Zac kind of adds another dimension of that with just added range. So you have to be really on your toes, and a team that was struggling yesterday in a macro point of view may struggle against these more unique picks.
Especially when one of the best ways to deal with Zac is range ward deeper into the enemy jungle, and that's significantly harder at this moment in time. So the last two picks there for Vitality, they will take the Elise for Shook, and Cabochard will be running that Fiora up top. So counter pick option for Febiven into this Rise. And what will synergize? Definitely need some more magic damage to supplement some of that damage from Zac.
Yeah, definitely.
LeBlanc was great yesterday, but
I mean, Febiven could even just play as Zed too. He can play any champions. He's just such a strong assassin player. He's just a strong player in general. I've had the courtesy or the luck to be matched with him and Spirit while they were smurfing their way up, and they gave me some freelo when he played LeBlanc that game, and he's actually a fantastic LeBlanc player overall.
Did it yesterday as well. And Febiven ended up going 4-2-10. Some great ability to find the necessary targets. You can see Dalo in the background chatting away, helping to guide the team.
So, just looking at compositions, Vitality have actually put up a pretty decent 4-1 split push here. And yeah, the LeBlanc as expected. It's a little tricky if you get rooted. But Febiven, what you should keep your eye on is the way he uses his Mimic ability. Very often he'll distortion W in, then flash, then distortion, then mimic W on the R key to really close that gap and make it slightly unpredictable. A lot of players expect LeBlanc to do the double dash and then prepare for the interrupt on the second dash. He will flash that interrupt, then go over. So he's very creative in his movement, and his chains like usually land.
Yeah, definitely was the case yesterday. Similar flavor for Fnatic, and looking again to get themselves either Gamsu or Spirit ahead.
Yeah, carbon copy composition for Fnatic, so we saw what their strength was. It was the early teleports from Gamsu, a good dueling lane in the bot lane, roam potential from Febiven, and then just straight on aggression. Whereas Vitality, yesterday they grouped up on a lot of towers to try and siege. They have that again right now. They have a lot of zone with the bindings, grouping with Rise in case they catch somebody. But then MF Morgana, when they group up together with Elise, they can siege down any turret. So a lot of siege potential, and then counter hard engage, chase down by Fnatic, so mirror opposites.
So the potential is
mirror
there.
Opposites, not what we
You
said.
guys need to decide whether or not Vitality are going to have new life breathing into them. Hashtag VIT win. Or will Fnatic pick themselves up another win? Hashtag FNC win. Jump on Twitter at LOL Esports. Tell us who you think is going to pick this one up. Yesterday, Noxiak tweeted that himself and Rekkles can 2v2 anybody in Europe. They've got the same composition again. And Hjarnan and kaSing are not players to back away from a fight if it is presented.
Yeah. We need to see if this comes down to a lane swap though. Alters so much. Current lane swap landscape is very interesting.
Instead, Vitality seem to be grouping themselves up for some level 1 shenanigans. Pre-1 minute. And Noxiak is going to spot them out. So I'm going to put some deep wards down. Instant reply from Gamsu and Spirit as well. So they should mirror the vision.
Yeah, trading information right here.
Nothing lost, nothing gained just yet. And the decisions that follow, that's going to be interesting to see. If somebody were to initiate the lane swap, who would it be and why?
It's bold questions. Both bot lanes seem playable. It does seem like Morgana and MF have a trading and range advantage on Poppy and Lucian. So Poppy Lucian kind of have to go for the all-in effect. If you can Black Shield while Poppy's trying to E, that actually gives you a big advantage, because a lot of trading from Poppy Lucian comes actually from not only the wall stun, but also the threat of a potential wall stun. You force your enemies to really move in different paths because they can't stay near the walls. Morgana Black Shield kind of solves that.
Very cheeky. Hjarnan and kaSing, they've actually made it out of the base gate, past the very first ward. So
I think they do a predictive lane swap, but what they forgot was that Rekkles already snuck into the bottom lane. Poppy, not sure if she got spotted there. But I think Cabochard was expecting a 1v1 in the bot. Especially since he's not continuing the double jungle right here. He's actually moving into lane and now moving back. That generally indicates that Vitality was expecting to match Fnatic in a 2v2 in the top lane. Otherwise, Cabochard wouldn't have wasted that time to run to lane.
So outsmarting themselves a little bit. Let's see what impact it has, Febiven. Let's get rooted by Nukeduck's reflexes. And
so we say Nukeduck starting with W here instead of the normal, I believe, Q. Just because LeBlanc level 1, she wants to auto W dash in, doesn't draw any creep aggro because unless you auto attack. Nukeduck just goes in for a quick snare and trade.
Gamsu's already recalling. Does it teleport available? Picked up a pink ward. And Rekkles and Noxiak also with the reply. So gonna look for that 2v2. Maybe Fnatic expecting Vitality, expecting Fnatic, expecting Vitality to do a lane.
Well, it's just basically, it depends, because the junglers started at the opposite side of the map. Fnatic was apparently fine taking a 2v2, so they had no option left to push in the wave. And then they know the top lane is going to teleport to soak up that wave because there's no threat from the jungle. So they preemptively send Gamsu back. Now Cabochard actually did a good thing here. Gamsu saved his teleport, but Cabochard has a level advantage. Need to see if Rekkles and Noxiak can use that double pink ward they bought to really vision bully in the top lane. Because they have a small lead, a base lead on the top lane, 2v2. Whereas in the bot lane 1v1, Cabochard has that lead.
Crepo, the shenanigans are not over yet because now kaSing and Hjarnan, they peace out. They've backed, picked up a potion after shoving that wave in.
Basically because regardless of what they do, go bot or top, one, they will confuse Fnatic. There is now the option that the Vitality bot lane runs to the bottom lane instead of straight top. They also pushed in the wave, which means it'll bounce back, and with MF being so quick, they lose barely anything, and especially if they double up on the Dorans, they have such good trade and harass potential that they can actually do serious damage to Rekkles and Noxiak.
Mind games aplenty for both of these teams.
So we see the reaction from Rekkles. He pushes in the waves like, if the case is that she comes back with double Dorans, I need some power up or I will just be denied any farm possible.
This is one of those games where you wish you could just listen into the team comms.
Yeah.
Figure out what they're talking about, what the priority is, who's making the calls.
Everything I'm saying right here could be wrong. I could be
and you
seriously
could be 100%
mistaken.
right.
But you guys can never find out. So as long as I make this confident statements, doesn't matter.
Damn it, Crepo, you're selling yourself out. Well, we do have the potential.
For very long.
We do see the potential of a gank here for Spirit with that elastic slingshot. He sets himself up if Cabochard continues to pressure in.
So that's how you can deduce ganks. You always look at the other lanes. Top lane, not very gankable. Mid lane, not very gankable. So both junglers know and assume that the most vulnerable lane, obviously, is that 1v1 on the bottom. Shook just covering Cabo so he can push in comfortably and let the wave bounce. And then Spirit's around in case some shenanigans happen from Shook, setting a potential dive.
Gamsu, again, running that fervor of battle, by the way, just in terms of mastery. Same as yesterday. Level 4 to level 4. Small CS advantage here for Cabochard from early on, and a very big minion wave being pushed into Rekkles and Noxiak, but there's nobody around for any risk of dive or threat.
This is where you see the range advantage. I was hoping that Hjarnan and kaSing would play up here and deny some CS, but they're actually giving free farm. They need to make something happen off this though, because they could have denied a lot more CS. Maybe even went to clear the pink ward. We see some really good trading here in the bot lane from Cabo on Gamsu. We see reaction from Spirit, but kind of disappointed that Hjarnan and kaSing didn't push the advantage.
Gamsu's running low, and if Vitality were watching the game yesterday, they know that's a scary place to be. As a note, you can see the Trinket Ward's countdown or cooldown's not ticking over. It is just a spectator bug, so please disregard that.
Yeah.
is counting down normally in game.
What did happen in the top lane though, Hjarnan is now slightly less than half a level ahead of Rekkles with an additional wave frozen. So they will win the race to level 6 and then immediately start zoning them off. So that's the key, that's the breaking point of this strategy. When you don't deny CS but you go for an additional Gromp, the payoff of that comes at level 6.
This is a great match to start to get a taste for which of the teams have got the communication and the strategy in-game and the ability to read it and reply to their opponents. Rekkles and Noxiak trying their best to get that wave to bounce back towards them. Right, down on the bottom, Spirit is going to find Shook. Spirit this time will be able to get that slowdown. No support yet from Cabochard, so no further engagement.
So you also see Spirit level 5 because he has continuously been farming. Shook has been farming, leaving his lane to cover, farming a little bit more. So slight level advantage on Spirit there. Shook caught up though.
And Spirit looking for something to happen. Shook did not go back to his jungle. Instead, he stuck around in this bottom lane. Cabochard does have a grand challenge. Undertow will connect and put the slow down. Flash for flash. Gamsu continues to run. He gets caught by the cocoon. He's got no Ragnarok. He'll get killed for first blood.
Yeah, really good. Shook continuous presence there, giving Cabochard the safety to play forward, capitalize on first blood. And this, now we will see how Gamsu's Olaf plays from behind. Because yesterday it was easy. Teleports bot, gets some kills, misplays happen. And meanwhile in the top lane, that 2v2 right now has reached level 6.
There we go. Bullet time is out. Noxiak cannot knock Hjarnan away. Black Shield would have prevented it anyway.
Yeah, here we see the interaction. Poppy, all these spells are so powerful. The W, the E, if they connect with Black Shield, entirely counters that entire setup. So the payoff, now we can start getting some denial of CS. Now we can start sieging that tower. Hjarnan and kaSing finally getting some pays dividends from their strategy.
1,000 gold lead. First blood. 30 CS advantage for Cabochard over Gamsu. And this is the exact opposite of yesterday's performance for Fnatic.
And more importantly, Gamsu couldn't teleport top because he was under so much pressure. If you look at the pink ward that Fnatic has been able to sneak in, imagine if Gamsu stayed even and Shook didn't keep him down. He could have just TP top, walked behind, and a couple of axes wouldn't, like, you can't really escape that.
Well, flashway from Nukeduck.
Yep.
Just for the cost of a single tower shot into Spirit. He'll be happy with that. But now Febiven needs to make it count. Febiven has to punish Nukeduck in this lane.
Good deep vision though. Look at Fnatic, what they've managed to do. Hide the pink ward. They're continuously pinging out Shook, so barring any major mistakes, they have his jungle pathing mapped out. Because you only need to see him once, and a good team will know exactly what he does. Obviously, he'll clean his jungle and then go to the other side to get even more camps, so it's the most likely path for him. We'll see if Febiven reacts with some wards or leans to the right side. Roam here from the Morgana.
Luckily for Febiven, he didn't stick around any longer, as that could have turned sour. kaSing very close to getting access to his ultimate. Noxiak, because of the fact that Rekkles was forced away, he already has that knock back from Keeper's Verdict. And this laning phase continues to draw out, something that Vitality are going to be fairly happy with. They've got great scaling, they've got great split push options. And if Gamsu can never deal with Cabochard, that can be one of the ways that Vitality look to close this game out.
Yeah, one of the weaknesses of MF into Poppy is just the flash E from Poppy, because it's pretty much denied. The second you start walking up more than you reasonably should, instant Black Shield walk off. So Hjarnan and kaSing playing the range game pretty well. Some really good lane swaps. Or not lane swaps, but just counter swaps. Soaking up that experience early from Cabochard in the bot lane. The bot lane swapping back, going for the double Dorns, double up. Putting some pressure here on Fnatic.
Excited to see Noxiak once we get to some of these bigger team fights. There's one Black Shield. There's one knockback, but you can hit multiple champions with that Poppy ultimate. Tower will drop shortly, and there's action on both fronts, because down bottom, Gamsu and Spirit, they're in another 2v2. Spirit's got the knock up onto Shook, and he lets bounces all the way up in their face. Cabochard and Shook will split up. This should be a kill for Fnatic, and it's just a matter of time. Undertow goes short. Spirit should be able to charge that slingshot. Put the hands down, wind up, swing, and a miss. Actually was the last one to deal damage. Kill credit to Fnatic.
Yeah, Shook taking the good way out, saying, I will sacrifice myself for my team. Cabo pushes in the wave. Now you see the strength from Zac if he does not get spotted, because it's the knock up from his E, and he immediately changes his ulti. Like, there was no initial moment, no other moment where Shook could repel any quicker, unless he saw the Zac coming.
So, no flash and Nukeduck. It was used earlier. Spirit does not fire this time round, instead holds the cooldown. Backs away. Fan favorite Fnatic, no real surprise there, but they've got to play from behind, and that's something we've not seen yet from anybody in week 1 of the LCS.
And I always see a move that Vitality did a lot yesterday in the early game. They send their AD carry into lane, where there's already other players there to start sieging up and putting pressure on towers, but at least they peel off their support this time.
Yeah, and if you look at kaSing, he's just moved to the bottom half of the map. There's actually a pink ward deep inside Vitality territory.
So like they're staying together. Cabochard and Hjarnan are whacking away on this tower, where usually you would see him base and go top, but they know that nobody's anywhere near top lane. They likely expect Rekkles to come back to the bottom lane and swap, and they know Olaf or Gamsu and Olaf can't really do any damage map-wise, presence-wise on the top lane, so they just siege down the tower, now set up for a dragon. And this was the very group-heavy style yesterday that Vitality got punished for, but because they're slightly ahead right now, it's working in their favor.
Yeah, very, very smart use of map pressure. There's 2 teleports available for Cabochard and Nukeduck versus the one of Gamsu, so if any action were to break out, reinforcements could come very quickly. And now we see if Vitality can keep this up onto these inner turrets.
I mean, just imagine the play. That's usually what you have to do. Imagine if they group mid. What is Febiven going to do in terms of wave clear? Every time he dashes in, he has to be careful of a snare for Nukeduck or a binding from kaSing, either on him directly or on his clone position when he warps back. That means they can zone him off the tower and force a hard engage. If they ward their flanks, Vitality can actually siege and get what I believe is a 3-0 tower advantage.
Well, Fnatic say one of the options is tower dive. They will get spotted in a moment, and there's a ward here, but Spirit's got very good range. Teleport from Nukeduck could come at any time, and it's started to channel. Cabochard flashes away defensively, and they've got themselves a few ultimates out of Fnatic's hands at the cost of a teleport, but tower still stands and no one goes down.
Now, very impressive that they managed to avoid that wall, because Fnatic, just like we were talking about, they know that the siege mid will definitely be their demise, so they start being creative. And what do they have? They have a pick composition, they have some roam from Febiven, so they try and dive the top lane. Cabochard expertly uses repost and gets out of that. Good teleport reaction from Nukeduck.
1,300 gold is the advantage that Cabochard has over Gamsu with those 40 CS. Cabo and Shook continue to hold hands. Dancing partners deluxe on day 2. Gamsu, if he sticks around much longer, this could get scary.
But the problem with this gank is that Cabo will never get any aggression from Gamsu because he's already ahead. So in a normal even scenario, maybe Olaf will charge at you, but it's so unlikely that he's going to do that. And Spirit has better gank opportunities right now.
So some wasted time up top for Shook. Spirit looking again to impact the map. Black Shield will interrupt the knock-up and not the knock-away as well. Noxiak will get rooted in place. There's a fight up top. They're going to tower dive Gamsu. He will get killed by Shook, and easy kill in the 2-on-1.
Yeah, really good reaction. Black Shield there from kaSing. Instant flash away. Poppy tries to chase. No walls for the stun. And Hjarnan completely untouched. His ulti alone. That is why MF was so strong. Yes, it was make it rain, but also the incredible zone and power in that ultimate. And we saw Rekkles, who tried to help the fight, but just got immediately blasted to half HP. Had to back out.
Fnatic will luckily secure a tower out of this. That will close that gold disadvantage that they find themselves in. In the middle lane, Febiven gets rooted. Will eventually make it back. But look at the top lane. Shook and Cabochard did not leave. So, Rekkles gets the outer. This should go down as well quite easily by Cabochard and Shook. So, more pressure being lost by Fnatic.
Very accelerated game here, but we can actually, this might allow Gamsu to slowly farm back up into the game. They did take the tier 1 tower and bot, which is a good goal. And Febiven right now, he has to make a move somewhere.
Well, let's find out. Nukeduck's in trouble. Febiven's going to back away. Noxiak looks for the kill, and the Ignite secures the kill.
Yeah, this puts Febiven in a good state again. He can still carry Fnatic back to even gold. Has to keep making his picks though, and he needs a little bit of help. He can't do it alone, because especially the build he's going for, it's more for repetitive harass rather than a one-shot burst. So he definitely needs one extra guy to come in, even if it's just Noxiak. Just a little bit extra damage and Ignite.
It's worked out. Spirit has been, again, very active. One of the new members of Fnatic. Yesterday, he had great control of the map. Fantasy leader for the day as well. And despite only 1 kill, multiple ganks, multiple pressure points against Vitality.
It's the mark of a good jungler that you can be very gank heavy and still get a lot of CS. Very rarely do we see both. That means you have very efficient pathing.
Rekkles takes a big hit there as well. Just trying to clear that wave button. You know, Crepo, you mentioned the wave clear. Neither team has got the greatest, if you exclude bullet time, on a fairly high cooldown.
So they have 1 wave clear, and then
in the ADCs.
Then you gotta watch the zone. So, but you have the flanks, that what we're talking about. Flank from Spirit.
Let's see, 1 Black Shield. Spirit actually flashes defensively when he realizes the threat. They're holding onto the tower. Let's see if they can keep it up if there's more pressure from Vitality.
Culling is down, Febiven show top. So nothing is stopping Vitality from the group, and Zone with binding and bullet time presence to get them off the tower and then siege the tower.
Now, Febiven's going to push up top if he can. Rekkles will remove as many minions as possible, but this is a very risky proposition. And look at Spirit waiting in the wings at that Raptor camp. Doesn't have access to Let's Bounce and actually goes to farm up himself. Maxed out the Elastic Slingshot. No real surprise.
Again, that's what Febiven wants to do in this matchup with this CDR boots build. Go in, harass Nukeduck, put him in kill range, and then for phase 2 of the attack, try and snipe him down. So Nukeduck playing super careful right here. And Vitality need to make something happen. Otherwise, they're slowly letting Fnatic get back into the game because Febiven is winning the pressure game and Gamsu is no longer dying to the 1v1. Yeah. So they need to make the siege happen. This time though, they have flank wards, so Spirit is unlikely to jump in from afar.
Yeah, nowhere near either. Just coming to the inner turret now. Fnatic still 2,000 gold down, still barely holding on to that outer turret. But Nukeduck happy to hold up top. Cabo happy to hold Gamsu in place bottom.
Fnatic doing a good job holding though. The second they realize they're about to lose the grasp of the middle tower, they send over Febiven because he had the pressure, so he has time to move between the lanes. And Gamsu, he's slowly catching back up, so by no means is this game snowballing out of control.
Scary thing is though, Fiora late versus Olaf late. I think I'd prefer the Fiora. They offer different things, of course, and depending on who initiates first, but...
Gotta see who he's playing against, though. Maybe Rekkles can stay away from Cabo a little easier than Hjarnan can stay away from Gamsu once the Black Shield is down.
Especially if you're standing still to shoot bullet time. That makes it very easy for Gamsu and Spirit to find their targets.
Yep. So Black Shield usage will be paramount to teamfight victory.
Tower will take a couple more hits. Noxiak eats a Dark Binding, and as long as Vitality is hitting the champions, the tower will remain standing. And as 2v2 continues to battle in the middle lane, it's been a main restructure of sorts.
Yep. Supports haven't based in ages though, so the Sightstone War should all be gone. So you're relying pure on trinkets to cover your flanks. That's risky, so that could mean an opening. And this is the second culling defense here on the siege. Spirit not warded out.
He doesn't jump though. The tower's going to drop. Noxiak's in trouble. Shook's looking to go forward. Defensive flash from Noxiak as the tower drops. Spirit is going to go forward, but he doesn't have the connection just yet. Let's Bounce used defensively, trying to move away. Rooted in place of the Dark Binding. It becomes globules, and Vitality will get the tower and a reply kill.
And this is the first time we've seen miscommunication on the side of Fnatic. Spirit has his E charge up. He could jump in. Noxiak move forward in an offensive position. Spirit cancels his E. Noxiak gets caught, jumps out. Spirit still goes in after.
Gigantic smile from Sean. This will make him smile even more. Cabochard solos Gamsu. There's not a lot more to say about that, I'm afraid. But Tower now is under pressure. Cabochard's got the support of Hjarnan, kaSing, and Shook. And chunk this down to about a third hit points.
Yeah, and look at Febiven. He can't really do much because if you see LeBlanc coming and you play against good supports. Hang on, Rekkles.
I think Rekkles is gone. He's going to flash defensively. Nukeduck had to flash to engage, but he will get the summoner heal as well. So
it's nigh impossible. It's nigh impossible to play a LeBlanc into a Cocoon and a Binding. Maybe you can juke one, but they can remove any option of counterplay by one aiming at the LeBlanc, the other one aiming at the clone, and wherever you jump, you're screwed.
So this was the performance that we were expecting from Vitality, and arguably performance from Fnatic. However, it's just very smart play from all those lane decisions.
Yeah, this
is Vitality ahead.
This is a performance we were expecting from Vitality, but also one we are fine excusing for Fnatic, given the state and how fresh their roster is. We can't forget these are players that have played maybe 20, 30 games with each other, with limited communication. They need to learn how to react to the same situations on the same page, and then you really don't need the communication as much, and they're developing that right now.
I had a great chat with kaSing yesterday before their game, and he was talking about how Vitality has had two good weeks of practice and how their sight is on players. We've said that a lot, but it is the truth as well. It's championship points. It's making it to Worlds at the end of the year. And it's starting to figure out how do Sean's and the rest of Vitality repeat this performance. As long as kaSing can land the Dark Binding into a follow-up Cocoon, that is so easy, and they chunk out Spirits.
Yeah, and the threat of this chain CC is what makes this composition so good at sieging. They can do that anywhere on the map. Like, If you're under a tower trying to walk up to a minion wave, all it takes is one spell to land, one crowd control effect, chains or initiates the chain of the others. The only counter to this is a flank from Spirit. Well, they just took him out of the equation.
Yep, good vision thus far from Vitality. And they're going to be on this inner turret. Look at the side lanes. You can see 6 wards in and around for those flanks. And now there's going to be an engage from Fnatic. Noxiak, he gets rooted in place. And he is destroyed. Vitality get the numbers advantage. Sean's is over the moon.
He's like,
with Vitality.
I see you, camera. I'm right here.
Well, I think that's all credit to him and the team because this is a great showing. 7,000 gold at 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Nobody came back yesterday.
Nope.
It's going to be monumental if Fnatic do it today.
Yeah. Well, yesterday it was all about 1-3-1. This 4-1 was played beautifully. Cabochard. Oh no, kaSing is going to juke. Yep. Can't juke that.
No, you can't.
He would if he could. Febi with the snipe. Good job, good pick. Gets the ward. But yeah,
Crowd excited as well.
if you can lock 4 people in the mid lane here, you also isolate the 1v1, so everything plays in your favor. Spirit's already dead. Noxiak, he's trying to zone to give Rekkles the time to clear the minion wave, but you see it snare, root, bullet time. And then meanwhile in the bottom lane, Cabochard knows he's up 1v1, so he can play more aggressive than he should. Kills Gamsu.
So kaSing gets caught out a little and lets Febiven go up top. I don't think that tower's going to fall. The Fnatic aren't even going to get that global gold for a little while longer. We've only got a single outer turret to their name. This is the 6 from Vitality. But as long as Vitality keep up those flank wards, they can then push forward, but now it's inhibitor turrets left.
Yeah, so Vitality's out of towers, so they will likely need a Baron to crack open the base. It is incredibly hard to siege bases at this point in the game without a Baron buff. So if Fnatic has a good usage of wards, and they switch to a little more root trinkets, because they're running 3 sweepers right now, I don't think that's the best approach. They're trying to set up engages from Spirit. They're trying to control their own jungle right now. And then make it easy for them to walk into the Baron and ward. That's their strategy right now. If they can keep the Baron stalled long enough, it creates time windows in which Febiven can operate in. He is the man to watch to get Fnatic back into this game.
Needs to kill some targets like Hjarnan or Cabochard. Noxiak looks forward, does not find the stun. Spirit gets a knock up onto Hjarnan, follows up. Hjarnan flashes away defensively. Bullet time starts being channeled, and Noxiak will not fall. He manages to walk away with the skin of his teeth, and no one goes down.
So they send in Noxiak first to take down the Black Shield, then Spirit for phase 2 of the engage. Just not quite enough. Febiven backed out of the fight a little early. Didn't get any connects on the chains. Vitality start Baron.
Now a lot of ultimates were used in that previous fight. Spirit should be able to hop over the wall. Baron down to 2,000 hit points, and Vitality do not want the 50-50. They back away, they play it safe, and they hold on to their lead.
Nobody wants to be that guy to lose the smite, especially since Zach's come in, knock up Elise, do more damage to the Baron, and then combo that with a smite. Febiven lurking over the wall as well. WQR is in a fantastic combo to steal Barons.
Yeah. Fnatic will get themselves a reprieve. Will get themselves their 2nd turret of the game. And they can catch that minion wave up top that has been building. If Vitality had been able to win a fight, that minion wave could have led to an inhibitor.
Yeah, any one fight right now is pretty much game over. So Fnatic is playing with their backs against the wall, but they made a good team fight happen. So phase 1 was control of jungle, deny wards, to make sure that they don't see Noxiak, that they don't see Spirit. Phase 2 is then sending in Noxiak to get the Black Shield. Phase 3 is Spirit jumping in.
Next one for Vitality. They're going to try this Baron again. Noxiak, Febiven, Spirit are around. Baron's down to 2,000. This is going to get close. Fnatic are too slow. Febiven's gone in. It's secured by Cabochard of all people. Noxiak will get challenged, and that will allow Vitality to heal any damage that came out. kaSing throws the Dark Binding. It does go wide, and Febiven's able to get away, but Vitality with a confident call. Make it work.
Yeah, good snare by kaSing there. Just not allowing Spirit to get into the fight. Febiven tried to go for Hail Mary steal. Did not work. Now Vitality at Baron. Now they can break open the base.
Gamsu's going to have to walk away. Tower will drop. No defense here from Fnatic. 10 seconds still until Noxiak's back up. Inhibitor will fall shortly, just after 25 minutes. And for Vitality, with the split push power they have in Cabochard, and the teleport from Nukeduck, they can do that 1-3-1 that Crepper you talked about at the top of the show.
Yeah,
right at the beginning of the day.
They can 4-1, 5-0, 1-3-1. They can do whatever they want right now. Baron buff. They're sitting at about 6,000, maybe almost 7,000 gold in their inventories too. So they're about to shop. and get a very big lead in power levels against Fnatic here.
Yeah, spend the gold lead that is showing at the top of the screen. Make it itemization lead. All blue trinkets. Number of pink wards picked up as well.
Interesting Mikhails here from kaSing. There's not really anything you really want to Mikhails other than a LeBlanc snare. Just wants a minor heal. Get rid of some slows maybe. He's doing his best to keep Hjarnan alive. That's it. Or Nukeduck. One of the damage dealers.
Cabochard at this point. He has options.
Yeah. More so because the Aegis and the Locket by extension is already finished on Shook.
Oh, Vitality going to clear out that top wave. Top tower still not fallen. And Vitality have grouped themselves up down in this bottom half of the map. Hjarnan will pull the minions all the way up to the turret.
Gotta wait for Cabochard. Rookie mistake right now is getting greedy and pushing that wave too quick and getting a 4v5 and then having Cabochard arrive late. No teleport available. Let's see how much patience they have. Because you see, Fnatic don't want to deal with Cabochard. They want to surprise them in the setup, not when they get to the base, when they're setting up the push.
45 seconds before Cabochard's teleport is up, and Fnatic, they hesitated. They did not pull the trigger on the engage. Spirit is charging up. The range is growing, and he's not done it. They've not gone forward.
Good patience. Double blue trinket there. Good usage of the blue trinket. Something we did not see from Fnatic in this game. Have too many sweepers.
Well, Spirit says, I want to go now. He does get rooted. He's not going to be able to channel Let's Bounce. Shook gets pinned against the wall, but the bullet time will secure a kill onto Noxiak. Febiven was really not able to get into that fight, nor was Rekkles. Now Vitality, they've broken on the inhibitor top. Cabochard challenges Rekkles and will win. Continues to chase down Gamsu. Spirit will try to save him. Riposte manages to interrupt at least one of them. Cabochard in a 1v2, while the rest of Fnatic's base is in tatters. The Nexus turrets are down. Cabochard walks away, and Vitality bounce back to beat Fnatic.
Yeah, and that final moment right there, Vitality take away the only answer Fnatic had, which was a 5-man forced engage on the remaining 4-man squad. They turn it around, Hjarnan was untouched, unleashes the bullet time from MF. Fantastic pick, I've always said it.
Well played indeed by Vitality.
Yeah. I really like the Morgana pickup from kaSing. It kind of it's the... I was thinking about the counters to Poppy and I didn't really think about the use of Black Shield. Just allows you to position so much differently. This time the grouping worked out for Vitality. Yesterday it was forced. This time it actually led to advantages.
And that is the first regular season game Fnatic has lost in over 6 months. They went undefeated in summer during the regular season.
There will be more.
And I think this was a good game at the beginning of a split to exemplify how young these rosters are in terms of individual play and strategy. Vitality yesterday did not look anything remotely capable of what they did today.
I mean, the only moment that really stands out in terms of communication and rosters being fresh is that engage in the mid lane where Spirit went in after Noxiak already died. All the other things are just all these teams discovering the meta on stage. There's just these finesse in certain matchups that just pull you ahead. The fact that Cabochard got to the tower early had a level advantage. He continuously had the pressure in the lane. That drew Spirit bottom. That meant the 2v2 in the top lane could be exploited. That matchup on paper, just like, you know, Fox Final Destination, no items allowed. It's like 2v2, no junglers allowed. You know, double range will generally always win against melee support plus range champion. Unless the melee support forces an all-in, well, Black Shield counters that. So the MF Morgana lane had just had an innate advantage there, and they managed to abuse that, get to level 6 first, get the tower, and then the rotation game started happening, and Fnatic were left with very little answers.
Great mind games, from the lane swap to avoiding vision to predicting to even the recall baits, if I want to go that
just
far.
The power-ups, you know, double Dorns for more laning power, knowing that at one point every matchup has a power spike in which you should be able to win. And for Misfortune, obviously, level 6.
Yeah, definitely worked out in favor of Vitality. So they pick up their first win here in week 2. We saw Sean's ecstatic during the course of the game.
With the camera.
Yeah, you have to. And this is something we're going to expect more of from a team like Vitality, where a lot of analysts leading up to the beginning of the split were saying the star power is there.
Yeah.
Now we need to see the macro and the decision-making work in favor of the players, because when kaSing was leading HTK last split, fell a little short, a little less creative at times. You know, it was a similar form.
Well, we don't know in H2K where the brilliance came from. Was it Prolly?
true.
Was it part kaSing? Was it both of them? But if you look at H2K right now, Prolly has already, mentored that very mechanically gifted lineup into what seems to be very good macro team as well. Even talking to players backstage, H2K's macro apparently is incredibly good.
Yeah, these are questions that I'm very excited to find out the answers to. And how do Fnatic bounce back? Zach and Olaf, it worked yesterday, didn't work today. These are two picks that we're not seeing really anywhere in the world, even though LMS, LCK, LPL are ongoing. A little bit.
It's early.
It is very early. It's like 1 week sample size.
For everybody out there, it's a 1 week sample size.
Yes.
Whether
And
it's playstyles, picks.
And we're playing 6.1. I think a lot of the other regions are 5.24 still. NA will be 6.1. Anyways, for now, we're going to head over to the analyst desk to talk about the anchor of Vitality.
Thank you so much, guys. Indeed, you can call him that. kaSing, well, first off, I'm very happy that you chose to stay here in Europe, Raymond. Let me ask you about this game versus Fnatic. Of course, you guys had a rough start yesterday, and especially about your drafting. Fnatic came out with the exact same team comp as yesterday. How much of that was anticipated, and how did you guys prepare for that?
Well, initially, yesterday, we were really... we kind of got outdrafted because we picked champions that, one, we didn't really practice for a while, one with Lulu. We didn't really play the comp to the correct standard. We picked Tristana, who needs 4 items to do something, to even do anything in the game. So this game, or today's game, we came in with another draft that we can actually benefit from it, rather than I can't say kind of
Creative.
Yeah. Basically, we picked a better draft that makes us flourish as a team, and it kind of showed today that against Fnatic they'll still be able to.
So, I mean, clearly you expected the Poppy rotation. We haven't seen Misfortune or Morgana really in yesterday's games. Maybe could you talk a little bit through that laning phase? Because, MF got hit by the patch. Morgana, isn't a support we've seen too much. Why this set of laners in this game for you guys?
Well, actually, we've played 2v2 against some other teams and in scrims and stuff, and then we played around with Poppy and Lucian, etc., all the OP picks right now. And I feel like after playing against most of the current support, Fresh and stuff, that are also meant to be really good, I just found out Morgana can actually be really good against Poppy too. And you saw in lane phase, we just have to survive, and then once we're level 6 especially, you just have a Morgana Q, MF ulti on top. MF ulti is still really, really strong, and people underestimate that part of her rather than just focus on her E. So yeah, picking MF, I think she's still a strong pick.
Were you surprised that it went back to the 2v2 lanes, or did you successfully mind game Fnatic?
No, we actually wanted the 2v2.
Yeah, you obviously did.
Yeah. We initially thought Poppy would be, sorry, how did I say it? We thought she was just baiting when she went over the ward, but then she actually wasn't baiting, and yeah, I mean, they swapped into us, which is what we wanted. So it was working out overall for us.
Yeah, that was great. And when you guys had a lead, you pushed it through. And that's something that we've seen from most of the games here so far. Why do you think it is that almost all of the games we've seen so far have been one team getting an advantage and then just being able to push it incredibly hard onto a win?
I think that's to do with the current meta, or the picks as well. Mid is just control mages mainly, and then after the AD carries are really, really strong now. They're really easy to push lanes with. And one, I think the minions changes, they actually made the minions push much faster. We noticed, we can actually siege one tower really, really fast, especially the first one. And yeah, I think overall this patch we're slowly adapting to it. So in the future it will be better.
Still seems that a lot of teams are adapting, but you guys are a new team. I just want to get your thoughts internally. What are the expectations for Vitality for this split and the whole season?
For this split, I'm not going to be really optimistic at saying, yeah, we're going to get first or something, because that's not my goal. I think our goal as a team is just we want to improve and make sure that we make we want to be able to perform maybe how we did today, but at least in playoffs, top 6. I don't think looking for number 1 in Spring Split is too much of a accomplishment.
Well, good thing to set your sights on. Thank you very much, and congratulations, kaSing and Vitality with a win over Fnatic. And as we speak, H2K is gearing up to face Origin in our next game. We'll take a look at the 2 contenders when we return. But first, we'll hear from Origin's newest mid laner, who's got some big shoes to fill.
Everyone has different reasons why he wants to move on, or for what he wants to move on, and Origin's offer looked quite promising, and I can learn a lot from Peke and the other veterans. When Peke added me on Skype, he was telling me that I will not be a replacement, I will be an addition. Having this SKT model is helping me learning a lot as well, because I'm still a young player. I personally hope to play as much as I can, so I will try my best to become the starter position, but I don't mind stepping back and letting Peke play. I think you can compare it to like other sports. At soccer you have like people on the bench as well who can like jump in. On Friday I'm ill, and then I can say, Peke, can you come in and help me out? Or in this particular game, this player is better, so we just take me or we take him. The key between me and Peke will be a lot that we don't get mad at each other. We always have constructive talks and we respect each other, and I think this is really big for us, and other than that it will be exactly the same. The IEM was quite a good experience. Peke at IEM was telling me, don't feel pressured, like if you don't play too good it's fine. And I didn't really feel pressured, but he was doing like a funny joke, which I didn't take bad. He was telling me, the thing is, if you play good, people will be like, Peke, you did such a great move with getting power people in. And if you play bad power, people will be like, Peke, come back, please, come back and play again. And so he was like, he's in a win-win situation, and I was like, I'm really good right now, so it's your job. It's always a little bit risky, I think, to like look for a new offer, but sometimes you, as a person and player, you just need to move on, look for something new, like get new experience. Staying in one team is really good for keeping the synergy, having the same goal and having like good support behind you. But having a change is always helpful as well. I think everyone is confused, not only the fans, but the players too. Like, not even I know exactly right now who is in which team. The moment we see the players in their jerseys, I think everything will be clear and you see kind of a color behind the player.